Welcome to Caleb Can't Read. I'm Jordan Rabel.
I'm Caleb Terrence.
And I just gotta say, we were looking at the stats all wrong here. It was like, Caleb's asking me, hey, how many people listened to the last episode? And I'm like, 2. It was you and me.
And you're like, I'm a lazy piece of shit. I'm not going to look up how to actually view that.
Well, it turns out there's a lot more people.
Yeah.
So, to all of you, it's still, as you would say, laughably small, but still.
Yeah.
It's the thought that counts.
It do, though. It do.
It do.
No, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hilariously small amount of individuals compared to literally any other even semi-established podcast.
Which, granted, we were and still are just doing this for funsies. I mean, I mean, straight up, when we're drinking and I get drunk, I tell you about history anyway. So,
I mean, is that the part where I start drunkenly passing out and threatening you?
That's what makes you a better. Yeah, it's what makes you a better audience.
Yeah,
well,
you wait to piss me off until I'm so drunk that it'll be hilarious if I actually attack you.
I just want to tell you about World War I, man.
But no, really. No, thanks, guys. We didn't think.
I would say, if you're really enthusiastic about it, casually drop it in the middle of a breakup if you could. And then, that'll make it a better challenge. Instead of tell your friends, I want you to break up with whoever you're with currently. If you're not with somebody, go hit somebody up on Tinder, tell them they suck because they don't listen to our podcast. Just try that.
Actually, that's
It's the Caleb Can't Read challenge. Ruin your life.
Cheat on your significant other. Leave. While you're carrying the stuff out and they're staring at you with their arms crossed, just remind them to listen to Caleb Can't Read.
She said that she gave me gonorrhea because I don't listen to Caleb Can't Read. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what kind of fucking band that is, but they sound shitty.
All right, what do we... Are we
From Chuck Klosterman's Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs.
This is going to be a theme now, isn't it?
Maybe.
I was kind of hoping you would just fucking drop it off.
Eventually. Now, every person you have ever slept with is invited to a banquet where you are the guest of honor. No one will be in attendance except you, the collection of your former lovers, and the catering service.
Damn.
After the meal, you are asked to give a 15-minute speech to the assembly. What do you talk about?
That's rough. That's rough as fuck. And it doesn't matter how many people you slept with, because, the smaller number it is, it just gets more awkward, and the bigger number it is, just, the shittier it's gonna be.
All I want to know is, am I given, a 10-minute head start?
Wait, did you seriously just ask me a question? What speech would I give to all of my former lovers, and then ask me to broadcast that?
Yeah. What's the one subject?
The one No, we're not. That is
Can you give an apology in 15 minutes?
Look, I've been over this. I can't change the size of it.
I mean, mine would be pretty easy. It's just welcome everyone to this year's family picnic.
Fuck! Jordan, that was rough. That was very rough.
Well, let's get into it, shall we?
All right, man. What do we got?
Ooh, boy. All right, so just tell me what you know about the Great Schism of 1054 AD, and we'll go from there.
Oh, not the Great Schism. I don't even know enough to lie. That's where I'm at currently, actually. So
I can't go back before the horse-drawn carriage.
I can't even pretend to bullshit this. So, yeah.
Well, basically, Christianity had been around for 1,000 years, and wouldn't you know it, this led to people taking the Bible a little too fucking seriously. You see, there are some people that believe Jesus being the Son of God.
No.
Where? You see, there are some people that believe Jesus...
Thank God that's in the past.
...being the Son of God, who, of course, had some God in him by way of the gene pool, makes him not just the Son of God, but God by extension. I mean, he's the Holy Spirit, right? Wrong! Jesus was a miracle man, sure, but that doesn't make him God, or does it? So which is it, you fucking heathen? Do you think the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or just the Father?
Sorry, go on.
No, your answer was there, but it escaped you. You thought it would be a much more audible fart, but it wasn't.
Failure.
Now, do you believe the Eucharist is allowed to have yeast or no? No wrong fucking answers or I'll cut your fucking balls off.
I wouldn't even know what the Eucharist was unless you told me last episode. So.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I am learning.
It's a cracker.
You are bettering my education.
It's a very bland cracker.
You're a bland cracker.
God fucking damn it. You might as well just turn it off. That's the best joke we're ever going to get out of this fucking
Really?
podcast.
No, I got more. No, I might actually be able to get out an audible fart soon. Hold on.
Please don't shit in my library.
I will shit my pants for this podcast.
That's dedication, folks. Well, it was problems such as these, not the shitting, that led to complete separation in the Christian church and gave us the two rival factions that we have today, the Catholic and Orthodox Church. There's a really good joke by Emo Phillips that I think explains it perfectly. Once I saw a guy on a bridge about to jump. I said, "Don't do it." He said, "Nobody loves me." I said, "God loves you. Do you believe in God?" He said, "Yes." I said, are you a Christian or a Jew?" He said, "A Christian." I said, "Me too." "Protestant or Catholic?" He said, "Protestant." I said, "Me too." What franchise?" He said, "Baptist." I said, "Me too." Northern Baptist or Southern Baptist?" He said, "Northern Baptist." I said, "Me too." "Northern Conservative Baptist or Northern Liberal Baptist?" Cutting to the chase here. Let's just say that the guy says, Northern Liberal Baptist. I yell, "Die, heretic," and push him over. It's a much longer joke, but I had to cut through it because it's a lot.
No, I've heard that before, and yeah, it sucks as a joke, but at the same time, when you think about it, it does make it more terrifying because you're just going over all the people he would push into a river. For a full fucking 60 seconds.
It's really odd. I haven't run into anyone to murder before, you know?
You don't want to know what I did on the way here.
Well, why were you on this bridge? I was just throwing heretics off bridges. Now, as you can imagine, this split in the church led to a few civil wars. And no one was more passionate about finding reasons to hate one another than the Italians. 200 years later, and they were still fucking fighting about it.
Spicy about it, too.
Meatballs back and forth. Although they were fighting under slightly different circumstances here. There was a period in the Holy Roman Empire where there was no emperor between 1245 and 1312. That's a 67-year gap with no legitimate ruler. So who's in charge? The Pope says it's him, and the Guelphs agree. But the Holy Roman Empire... What?
I can't... No, the what?
The Guelphs. I didn't get that far in Duolingo to tell you different.
It sounds like a male queef. like mid peg if you pull out. Not quite a fart.
Oh god, I'm gonna Guelph.
Let's make that a thing.
Why'd you break up with him? He Guelphed and he didn't listen to Caleb Can't Read.
He Guelphed and never put down towels.
Looks like I live with a slug man around here.
Are we going to be saying this a lot? I don't know if I'm going to be
Guelph? Yeah.
Yeah. New definition, please. Please push this, all 50 of you.
150.
Thousands.
Thousands. The millions of people.
You're a part of something big.
So, who's supposed to rule? The Pope says it's him. The Guelphs agree. But the Holy Roman Empire says, we're already fucking holy. Our government is fine as is. We'll lead. And the Ghibellines agree. The Guelphs and Ghibellines fought like a Harry Ginny fandom against a Harry Hermione fandom. These guys were like Crips and Bloods in Florence, fighting off and on for the next 100 years. What? What's your fucking problem? Look, of course I'm going to make Harry Potter references.
No,
I know our audience.
No. I'm just. If you had to
More into the microphone, please.
Just please. I don't know. I didn't know it was able to make adult Harry Potter fans more unsettling. But now I know you are reading fan fiction where there are two young girls that happen to be hairier than as they are written wrestling with each other.
No. Harry is the name of a person. That's not describing them as Harry.
Well, then why did you use... No, you didn't use it like that.
I would like to say, I've never read fan fiction. This is what I have heard.
Okay, yeah.
But
no,
putting it about, let's read more stories about prepubescent kids. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, no, totally.
Okay.
And I've never been so out-fapped that I had to upgrade it to hentai. Like, absolutely, dude.
What's hentai?
I don't know.
And Florence was and still is a pretty big hub of activity. So you had your merchants in the Guelphs fighting for the Pope, and you had noblemen in the Ghibellines fighting for the state. You had to wear your feather in your cap a certain way, and you even had to cut your fruit a certain way for others to determine which crew you ran with. Don't cut your apples like a Guelph or you're fucking dead.
Don't cut your apples like a fucking Guelph.
Officers, get that man. He Guelphed all over my fruit stand and left. All right, here we go. The butchering of names. Alighieri di Bellicione.
My favorite section.
Born sometime around 1210, was a Guelph. We don't know. Now it just sounds like an insult.
Stop. We're not going to be able to get through. We gotta. I'm sorry I did that. I'm sorry I put that on your shoulders as a handicap for getting you through this.
I'm handicapped enough. I don't need this.
Don't insult handicapped people. That's
You're only ginger.
No. You just suck.
Now, we don't know too much about this guy, but we know that he was a part of a decisive battle that led to a major Ghibelline victory over the Guelphs. Not like a final win or anything like that, but the Guelphs took a sustainable loss. This was the battle... Sustainable loss.
Wait, is that... Sustainable, doesn't that mean that they can recover from that?
They did.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. I'm not going to think about it anymore.
Look what you did. Look at it. Go on, proceed.
This was the Battle of Monteperti. And we're not going to get too into it here, but just as a backdrop to what this was like, it was a battle that lasted only a single day, 8 hours more specifically. And in those 8 hours alone, more than 10,000 men from the Guelph army had been killed.
In one workday.
The Ghibellines, about 600.
Holy shit.
I mean, you would think
the Guelphs were like a bunch of fucking Guelphs. What can I say?
They were a bunch of hardworking merchants against nobles. I think that's kind of impressive that the nobles were able to not die as much.
No, it's no. Hardworking merchants and tradesmen have not had the funding from birth to get combat training like the nobles have. That's absolutely reasonable. They don't have the fucking same funds to get armed the same way as the nobles do. Like, that makes total sense.
Their daddies didn't even give them Kalashnikovs. Just mowing down fucking people.
I'm sure what the fuck were I've been so excited about the joke we made. I forgot what the names of the other guys were. What is it again?
What, Ghibellines?
Yeah, the Ghibellines. The Ghibellines, yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure they were, way more well-armed, man.
That's fair. Their armor is actual armor rather than just
they might have actually... Yeah, no, there's no way they didn't have a huge up on training and equipment there.
Well, actually, the big reason there was such a large difference was because a Guelph commander named Bocca degli Abadi switched sides at a major turning point in the battle. He was next to the guy waving the Guelph flag and just fucking cut his head off. No warning, just one swipe, whoop! This caused such a panic to the Guelphs that they quickly lost all hope of winning. I think this guy, this Bocca degli Abadi, somehow saw how the battle would turn out quicker than anyone else did and just desperately made up some action see, I'm on your side, spare me.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was a major thing.
That is advanced rattery.
It seems ridiculous, but it was a huge, fucking juju thing for people. You have to have that flag up in the air. And if it drops on the ground, then it's pretty much the spirit of battle is not on your side.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with any rah-rah bullshit like that. Look, if we're clashing and we're losing horribly, and then I look up for some fucking reason, and then upper management just starts beheading each other, I'm out.
God, I wish they
holy
would.
Shit, no, we're out of here.
Wish my upper man. Now, Alighieri wasn't.
Anyone can listen to this, Jordan. We don't make money. Be careful. Be a good boy.
Now, Alighieri wasn't killed after being captured once the battle had ended, perhaps suggesting that he had friends in high places, but more than likely, he was just too low on the totem pole to bother killing. At some point after this, Alighieri married a woman named Bella degli Abati, same family as the traitor from the Battle of Monteperti. I think they were cousins. So that was how he got his revenge. Just because that was the commander that cut off the flag boy's head.
Yeah.
And he's banging his cousin.
Like, what the fuck? Okay, all right.
I'm just saying.
Go on.
I'm sure the love between them was steamy, especially since she was marrying a man 30 years her senior.
No lack of steam there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure when he passed by, you could feel the temperature rising. Just
30 years a senior that has lived back then, that lived that rough of a life. I think there was a lack of steam and consent.
That's fair. Slave wasn't a word yet. No.
But woman was.
Well, all this steam did result in one child. The subject of today's episode, Dante Alighieri.
Dante Al who?
Alighieri.
Thank you. That's much better.
Alfredo. Dante Alighieri was born
Alfredo.
Dante Alfredo was born in 1265, more or less, in what was then the Republic of Florence. And unfortunately for Dante, we have to get right into the sad parts. When Dante was about 5, his mom died. Don't know how, we just know it happened in 1270. But his dad gets pretty quick on the draw here and remarries. Has himself another couple of kids named Francesco and Gaetana. What?
Gaetana?
Why? Because it says gay in it?
No, it says it has gay and katana. It's like a katana that turns you gay instead of killing you.
It's like you pull it out and it's just floppy.
It turns you gay. And it makes your dick small. Ah! I'm sorry, that was lame. Go on.
When Dante was 9 years old, his father took him to a local banker's place for a party. The man was Folco di Ricovero Pontinari, and it was here, at his home, that Dante ran into this guy's daughter. Same age as him, the love of his life, Beatrice. Next to nothing is known about her, but we do know the profound effect this meeting had on Dante. And the affection Dante had for Beatrice is often seen as one of the biggest romances in history. Here's the thing, though. They never hooked up. They only met one other time besides this. And I know what you're thinking. Is she hot? Well,
I'm actually just thinking that that's really creepy.
Yes, but maybe it's because she is hot.
How big was the titty, though?
I mean, I feel like there were a lot of bankers' daughters out there that could afford food. And if the titty was big, brother, she might have been carried in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, there's nothing sexier than that.
Well, truth is, we have no idea.
Look at him. She can't even move.
Perfect. Dante makes one reference to her having green eyes, and that's it. All the sonnets and poems he wrote about her deal with her personality. So maybe that says something. I don't know.
But I thought... Oh, okay. No. Sorry. Go on.
Anyway, when Dante was 12, sometime around 1277, he was married off to another girl named Gemma Donati, who is about the same age. Every painting I've seen that's supposedly Gemma has her looking like the lead singer for a hair metal band. Dante went along with it, even though his heart belonged to Beatrice, who, like I mentioned before, only met him one other time when he was 18. They bumped into each other on the streets of Florence. She greeted him, and he immediately ran home. I imagine just to spank himself silly. And he invented from this a whole new style of writing called terza rima, which I won't bore you with because it's boring.
I don't know. Can you give me a definition of this?
No. But basically...
Fuck you, man.
Basically, the whole takeaway is this. Dante, a married man, meets this chick twice and makes a way of writing that's later used by T.S. Eliot, Robert Frost, and fucking Percy Shelley. Dante followed
the greats that I know. Yes.
Robert Frost, yeah, he's the... he was in that one movie, and he goes like...
Yeah, he was that one movie with Simon Pegg, right? Like,
no, he's like, freeze, and like, he chills all the guards before stealing
he's got the silly accent, and there's the ice skating scene. Oh shit, we got foam.
Put the whole thing in your mouth.
I hate it. I hate doing that. Sorry. Sorry.
You know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Oh, no. We're doing the thing. We're doing the thing where we get off track. We get off track too much. Like we did in the last episode. Where, like, right now, what I want to do is talk to you about leathery bat nipples. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go on with the...
Let's just change what this podcast is about and talk about leathery bat
dude.
nipples.
I just want to break through on...
The Joel Schumacher titties. Yeah.
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 No.
You know the entire...
Stop.
No. I just got to say, real quick, the entire commentary on the DVD for Batman and Robin is just Joel Schumacher apologizing.
For bat nipples?
Yeah. No, not for bat nipples, for the whole thing.
For the entire
He was
movie.
just like, look, man, we thought it would be fun, and we were wrong.
We want to apologize to Mr. Schwarzenegger for being involved in this.
We have such big names. And just...
George Clooney and Uma Thurman for this stain that will be on you.
The kid that played Robin that girls were all about for one summer, and now no one remembers his name. So Dante followed in his father Alighiero's footsteps as a Guelph before his death. Stop!
Ow!
Gotcha.
Fuck! Ah! God damn!
I mean, come on. The guy's married, writes a million things about this one chick. Dude sounds like a fucking Guelph.
Total fucking Guelph.
Follows in his father's footsteps before his death sometime in the 1280s, when his dad would have been somewhere around 70 years old and Dante was about 15. It's a hell of a gap. Had Alighiero held out just a few more years, he would have seen the final victory of the Guelphs over the Ghibellines in 1289. Dante actually took part in the decisive Battle of Campaldino on June 11th, 1289, which defeated the Ghibellines once and for all. And then almost immediately, the Guelphs split into factions and started killing each other.
Wait, so he was doing this the whole time then? So there was like a whole... Like,
he
kept
was
fucking scrapping and doing all...
Yeah. He was getting into fucking fistfights.
So he's managing this, he's writing all this shit, and
Mm-hmm.
so he's doing all that, and he's managing gang warfare at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's pretty much a teenager. A married teenager.
So he's a married teenager who's been involved in gang warfare and having a life, and he's writing.
But at this point, he has created a new form of poetry, which is already just like, good for you, you can quit now, you know, but he will go on to do much bigger, better things. But still, that's fucking impressive.
It's very impressive, especially for a total fucking Guelph.
Yeah. Guelph.
Quelf?
So now...
No, respect.
So you see the issue here between the Guelphs was that they fought for the Pope, right? The Ghibellines fought for state control. The Guelphs wanted to fight for the Pope. Well, the Pope fucking dies, basically. And then you've got this new Pope, Pope Boniface VIII. Rolling up into the streets in December of 1294. Shut up.
Boner Fist?
It's not funny.
That's Pope Boner Fist. That's really funny. It's just missing one R. Like, that's it.
Hey, who's this boner face guy?
No, that's adding in too much. That's crass, Jordan. We will not be doing that on this podcast,
dirty humor.
Sir. No. Disgusting. Please keep going over this author's life.
Well, when he rolled up into the streets, people were not... They were a little split on the guy's leadership skills. He was known for taking things a little too far. For instance, in 1297, there was a town called Palestrina. Was a town called Palestrina. And the family that ruled there said they wanted to govern without Pope Boniface's interference. Well, the Pope, being an understanding guy, burned the city to the fucking ground and salted the earth so nothing would ever grow there again.
So Boner Fist burned down the town of Pellegrino? Yes,
with his army of Guelphs. So now there were the Black Guelphs, which supported... God damn it. Which supported Emperor Palpatine here.
I'm so sorry for tainting this.
And the White Guelphs, who didn't. They did not like the Pope. By the way, it was during this time that Dante fathered his first son, Jacopo, sometime in 1289.
Damn! How old is he?
I I don't know.
Like, just give me a random, give me a little guess.
No, let's see. Here's he is born in. Oh, that's right. We don't totally know. Oh,
Okay.
1265. It's now 1289. So he's 33,
Holy shit!
34.
How the fuck did he?
What?
I just thought I was like, wow, you've been married this whole fucking time back then, and you've managed to not have a fucking kid. And I was like,
that's a good point.
That's no, dude. That's how much fucking time he spent beating it about the banker girl.
Hey, honey, I'm really feeling it tonight. I have a headache. I'm just gonna go to my headache closet.
You've had a headache for 20 years.
You should see somebody. I want to see somebody else.
Jesus, dude. That is impressive, though.
It is. That is actually, yeah. Because he's married since he's fucking 12. He's like 34 now. Yeah, it's been like fucking 22 years or something.
I don't know. I've never tried to do that. I don't know if it's difficult. Sorry. Moving on.
None of his kids nor his wife will ever be relevant to Dante's life, so don't worry about names or anything. It's just
that's fucked up.
It's just him and Beatrice that anyone ever remembers. Which sadly, on June 8th, 1290,
it's just him and the woman he neglected his family to beat it alone to.
Beatrice, I'm a little off-put by the fact that it's all memory for him. Like, we don't know what she looked like because there are no pictures. You would have think he would have been scribbling some, like, you know, some stick figures with boobs out there or something.
No fucking way. No. He's fucking involved in a whole bunch of gang shit while he's doing all this. He does not have the time to learn 2 art forms. It's impressive that he was actually able to do this while he was managing that. Actually. No. Like...
Well, on June 8th, 1290, Beatrice Portinari passed away at the age of 25. Her cause of death is unknown. And holy shit did this affect Dante. 25 sonnets, 1 musical, and 4 songs, which would have been 5, but the news of her death left him too distraught to finish it. Dante had comprised 10 years' worth of his love for some unknown banker's wife into a book called La Vita Nuova, or The New Life, collected and published in 1294, 5 years after her death.
Well, yeah, and so Beatrice is the chick he creeped on?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but I want you to... Yeah.
His family's just like, hey!
Yeah. I can't imagine how Gemma thought about all this, his wife. I'm sure, like, oh... Is that sonnet gonna be about me? Like, yeah. And her hair was big.
You know, I don't want to put your name out there, so we'll just call you.
Well, speaking of which, actually, I'll get to that in a little bit. He already had his 5-year-old son Jacopo at this point with another boy named Pietro on the way. Never mentions them or his wife in anything, as far as I could find. Probably helps that Dante never named himself in the poems. He just published them anonymously.
What a fucking dick.
So maybe he worked on it in secret and published it without her knowledge. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, God,
no.
He's not so brazen.
No. For a dude who's managing all that shit, I mean, he would totally think to just be like, no, I'm just throwing this out. I'm not putting my name on it. I don't want to cause that problem at home with everything else going on.
That dude is for sure gotten an office somewhere downtown that's just a little bit too far out of her way. She can't quite make the bus stops to get there. He just goes there just to write.
The old Italian bus stops.
And the love interest is only given the first name Beatrice in these stories, these sonnets that he has. Which... The thing is, though, is people figured...
I couldn't even cover that one. I'm so sorry.
I don't give a fuck, baby.
But people
turns me on. It's not about them. So, the love interest is only given the first name Beatrice, which people figured was probably a pseudonym anyway. Because in one of the poems, he talks about her like a godly, beatific vision. And people thought the author was just being cute. Like, she's like a beatific figure, Beatrice, you know... Not knowing that was really her first name. Yeah. Which, if you'll remember...
no subtlety.
Yeah, I want to say the beatific stuff is like people who are not saints, but they are holy. They've been blessed, basically. We talked about a little bit in one of the Walter Miller episodes where basically Saint Leibowitz was not yet a saint, but he had been blessed.
He was saintly.
He was...
but not saint to officially.
Yeah, he was the venerable Leibowitz for a long time, which is what you would call somebody between them dying and actual sainthood. And so that's what he's calling her. She is the venerable Beatrice. She is not blessed by the Pope, but she is blessed by me and my fantasies.
Fuck this guy.
So right after this, he actually had his second child, Pietro, in 1295. But
and he didn't care about him either.
Yep. No, you can forget about it. It really does not come up.
He's just lost the woman he stalks and his...
He does not know how to handle it. Now, Dante climbed up in the political ranks a little bit amongst the White Guelphs. Not much, but some. During this time, the White Guelphs led a major victory over the Black Guelphs, effectively making the Republic of the Republic of Florence whites only. Sorry.
There are rules here. There are rules that you will follow. And that was pretty funny, actually.
Pope Boniface had appointed a peacemaker for the Tuscany area, which Florence was a part of. His name was Charles of Valois, the brother of the King of France, with the intentions of making some peaceful negotiations to calm tensions among the blacks and whites. Sorry, I'll stop.
Okay, yeah.
The people of Florence correctly guessed the Pope was up to some bullshit.
The black and white Guelphs. Let us
reiterate.
Especially
because the Black Guelphs had sent negotiators to Florence in the past, only to have their asses paddled and sent back home. So, like, every time that they're going out to Florence, the White Guelphs are just beating them up and sending them back. And now the Pope is just like, guys, we're going to bring in a huge military foreign general in to just talk things over. You know?
And they're like, we're going to bend you over.
These guys were not treated well by the Florentines at all. So when word got around about Charles of Valois being assigned as a quote-unquote peacekeeper, the Republic of Florence sent Dante and some other guys down to Rome to ask Pope Boniface what the fuck was up. The resulting meeting was nothing major. All in all, the Pope seemed like everything was on the level. The Pope dismissed all the Florentine delegations, all the delegates, but he liked Dante, asked him to stick around for a little while. It was a little less than a suggestion.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'll stick around. You're not a piece of shit that'll fuck me up or kill me or something.
Yeah, it was a little less than a suggestion.
I trust you, Mr. Bonerfist.
And Dante knew that, too. He was being held prisoner by the fucking Pope while the rest of his buddies left. Over the next 6 days, Charles of Valois, along with an army of Black Guelphs, destroyed much of Florence and did away with their political rivals. Oh. It was a complete overthrow. It's with this new Black Guelph government that they pass a few laws while Dante is being held hostage by the Pope.
Oh, okay. No, okay, so where... So they didn't... There was no military or anything they could use to kind of contain, like, this weird, like, double gang violence thing?
Usually...
Is that how it worked?
No. Usually it was just like, we formally invite you to the field outside where we're going to kick your asses and fuck your moms. But, like, instead, this was essentially a ransacking. They just went in, wiped out everything and all the political rivals, and they were like, okay, now we're going to stay here until things are a little bit more how I want them.
So there was no government? It was just, like, gangs that were, or not for the current Pope?
Basically.
Who was named Bonerfist?
Yeah. So,
what a magical time.
No, the Republic of Florence was, basically, wild. The gang did set up their own government. They basically had it there like that, but it's like, it's not super formal. It's more like, well, we won and there's not another gang around, so it's us or no one.
Turns out if the gang gets so large that 10,000 casualties is, something we can recover from, the army can't really do shit.
Yeah. Oh, and during this week that everything is happening, the Pope's got a fucking messenger basically going back and forth who's giving him and Dante a play-by-play in real time. Just like, oh, hey, that family next door killed them, like just letting him know, like, hey, everyone you know and love is dead. Yeah. And so essentially...
Okay, fuck Pope Bonerfist. Fuck him.
Essentially, there's a new law passed that Dante is told he's already broken. He's an elected official, but he's not even in the city. That's not allowed anymore. That's abandoning your post, dude. And that was just, that was passed while he's being held hostage. And he's like, oh, hey, just Just
We just wanted to
I
make
just
sure this
made a
looked
new-
good on paper.
I just made a new rule, which you have already broken. The punishment: a large fine and exile from Florence for 2 years. Pope Boniface expected Dante to just basically cry and leave. I mean, Dante is a nobody at this point, just a politician among hundreds of others. The Pope just wanted to psychologically torture someone, and it happened to be him. Little did he know that Dante had a rage that would create the most beautiful, famous, revolutionary fuck you in history given in years. Just a few years' time. Dante just stood in front of the Pope and said, "I'm not paying your fucking fine, fuck you." I mean, he knew all his
Also,
shit.
I have no money.
Well, yeah, no, he knew all his shit would be stolen when he got home anyway. What the fuck was he going to pay him with? So the Pope told Dante, if you don't pay your fine at the end of your exile period of 2 years, you'll never be allowed to step back into Florence for the rest of your life. If you do, you'll be burned at the stake. And you know what? Dante took that deal. He lived the rest of his life in exile and never saw home again. His sons went with him, but it was his eldest son, Jacopo, who would be acting as an assistant to Dante throughout the last years of his life. And it was sometime around here.
I hope that didn't get picked up. Jesus. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, thank God.
Sometime around 1300, that Dante had his third child, a daughter named Antonia. When she eventually grew up to be a nun, she took the name Sister Beatrice. I'm sure Gemma was just pleased as fucking punch.
I don't know, man.
Even his kids like her better than the real mom.
What the fuck? This poor lady, dude.
What did I do?
I've been loving you since you were 12, and I was 12. Beatrice.
I don't want to be a Sister Gemma.
I don't like this. You have no choice. God damn, that fucking sucks.
That's a little harsh, right?
No, that's extremely fucked up.
So it's the year 1302. Dante is newly exiled at the age of 37, and he's got no job. Besides finding sanctuary by couch surfing for his remaining days, he reached out to King Henry VII from Luxembourg, which it wasn't Luxembourg, it was Luxembourg. He's basically asking, hey, what if you took over Florence? Look real fucking nice on your mantle, I bet. Like, just, he has no idea that Dante's, has a reason. Yeah, he's just, sending a fan letter, just would be real fucking punk.
Yeah, that'd be punk.
He was so salty about being exiled that he wrote to a foreign king and asked him to just wipe out the Black Guelphs and let him back into town. I mean, fuck it. Some people invite celebrities to their weddings and sometimes they show up, right? Well, it fucking worked. King Henry VII started a siege of Florence. Along with this was a manifesto Dante wrote called De Monarchia, about how fucking cool it'd be to have a king instead of a dick-headed pope to run things for a while. He released the...
What if instead of having one man with absolute power, we had another man with absolute power? I feel like that'd be better.
He's gonna let things trickle down.
I mean, props to him for not, to me, if I led that kind of fucking life and I made it to 37, I'd be like, no, that's cool. I'll chill.
I've done enough. He released this propaganda with what I imagine was a picture of his asshole and told the Black Guelphs to suck his dick. No. Well, King Henry VII died pretty immediately after De Monarchia came out. It was a bit of a premature celebration.
Uh-oh.
So
let me guess, the king that got installed was not...
Oh, no, he didn't get installed. He was starting to attack and then died. So,
okay, all right.
So he just made his own situation a bit worse by also sending out his own fan fiction of go fuck yourself,
Just sent it out. Here we go, and
But luckily for him, it's around this time that Pope Boniface VIII dies an agonizing death of the flu in 1303, much to his luck. He was succeeded by Pope Benedict XI just 11 days later.
Good.
And may have changed things around for everyone, but he died 9 months later before he could really do anything. And the next Pope, Pope Clement V, was unfortunately even more horrific than Pope Boniface was, so nothing changed.
What a fucking roller coaster.
I know. He's dead. Yay! There's a new Pope. Yay! That one's dead. No! The next one is worse. Oh!
Enjoy your 9 months.
And then in 1308, Dante had his fourth and final child, Giovanni. Again, no one cares. Certainly not Dante. He never mentioned him. But all of a sudden, a book starts making its way through the streets. Not just Florence, but everywhere in the Holy Roman Empire. People are shocked. People are laughing. And everyone is going wild as hell reading it. And hell is exactly what it is. Sometime around 1308, about 6 years after his initial banishment, Dante began work on arguably the most famous story in history behind any religious text, simply titled Inferno. And over the course of the next 9 years, book by book, Dante would furiously push out his ultimate, perhaps the most ultimate, fuck you story. Now, originally, in the Bible, hell is only mentioned a handful of times and is never fully explained. Hell is talked about in the Bible as if people already knew what it was. Thing is, the way it's talked about, hell could either be a place or a state of mind. Of course, since then, it has been well established as a place. But originally, the Bible said hell was a grave of fire in a place of gnashing teeth. That's it. Basically a ripoff of what Zoroastrianism had.
Ah, yes, Zoroastrianism.
I did a little project on it in college, and I was very proud of myself for knowing that.
Oh, I remember. I was stalking you well before we met. Proceed.
You smelled better then. However,
Taylor, too.
Everything you think you know about hell...
Milky White.
What?
Nothing. Sorry.
Everything... What was that?
Nothing, Jordan.
Was that a tongue in my ear? Everything you think you know about hell comes from Dante's Inferno. This book essentially placed everyone Dante hated in their own little section of hell, along with some of mythology's most famous characters. This was like a kid bullied at school who goes home and types up a story about how Darren and Taylor are actually super fucking stupid, and they go to hell where Scorpion and Mario are gonna beat them up. And of course, I mean, it really fucking is. Of course, this was just the first time something like it was done. It was Bible fan fiction. And also, not everyone Dante placed in hell...
Sonic fan fiction except for Christianity.
Yeah. Not everyone Dante placed in hell were dead yet either, as we'll learn. When certain political rivals or people that refused to help Dante when he was in exile were named, people turned to them and were like, damn, Bobby, what'd you do? And a whole bunch of family reputations were tarnished because of this. So, without further ado, let's get into the metal as fuck tale of Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, dude.
And it opens like this. Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. It's April 7th, 1300, on the eve of Good Friday. Dante, having been freshly expelled from his home by Pope Boniface VIII, walks alone.
Wait, he straight names him?
Actually, I want to say yeah, but I mean, just mean in the context of this.
Oh, okay.
Because he does say the date at the very least. And as we know from like documents and stuff, this is like he had just been expelled. And now he walks alone, lost in the woods. He begins walking up the base of a mountain when all of a sudden he's driven back by 3 beasts. A leopard signifying malice, a lion signifying violence, and a she-wolf representing a lack of self-control.
I feel like that could all signify violence.
They all plan to eat me.
They all are gonna fuck me up.
The she-wolf
Bad.
just like...
Real bad.
Just like pickpockets him. He's just like, no, goddamn, no!
You represent theft somehow. And I'm making sure people know you're a woman. Like,
the lion represents boomer humor. Really hate my wife. Oh, god damn it. It's not funny.
oh god, having a wife, right?
These kids and their computers. He backpedals into the woods, but is suddenly protected by what Dante calls a shade, or as we know them today, a ghost. This shade is none other than Publius Virgilius Maro. Shut up. More commonly known as Virgil, author of the Aeneid, and coincidentally, one of Dante's...
Sorry, excuse me for interrupting you. Please finish.
He is the author of the Aeneid. That was also a fan fiction, but of Homer's tales.
That was that's the super old shit, right? That's the super old Greek shit, right?
Yep.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Nothing. man. All right.
Oh, come on.
That's that old shit, right? From like, fuck, man. The 60s?
That's like the oldest recorded shit, right? Except for,
Coincidentally, though, Virgil happens to be one of Dante's favorite authors. I think he was his favorite. Virgil has been sent by heaven to show Dante what heaven, hell, and purgatory are really like. He's been sent, more specifically, by the Virgin Mary, and the symbol of divine love herself, Beatrice.
Oh. Oh, no.
Through a cave, Dante and Virgil come upon the gates of hell, sporting the famous words, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter." Common misconception that it's ye who enter here, but it's not that, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, there you go.
Don't care. Do not care.
They come across the shores of the Acheron River, where on the other side lies hell. On this side, the people who died being neither good nor bad, but living their lives only for opportunities or self-interest, are doomed to run through the fog, being stung by hornets and maggots.
Well, it's a bit extreme.
It's gonna get worse. Never to be granted to either heaven or hell. Here are the angels that took no side in Lucifer's...
It's purgatory. Oh, okay. With wasps. That's not a middle place.
Here are the angels that took no side in Lucifer's rebellion against God. And also, here is also the previous pope, Pope Celestine V, whom Dante felt was responsible for so many evil people to reach positions of power within the church.
Actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, because he's a guy who was involved in like so much fucking violence and like gang shit his entire life. He's, saying
Who,
that,
Boniface? Oh, you mean Dante?
Yeah, no, Dante.
Tons
yeah,
of
right?
gang shit.
So anybody who would have like remained in the middle ground and just like been a fucking pussy.
Yeah, but all of his gang shit
He was like,
always
no, you
being
get
right.
stung by wasps. You know what I mean? No. All of you that just stayed in the fucking middle and didn't do dick while everybody got fucked up. No. Wasps.
No,
fog.
it's true. Throughout all of the story,
all of you are going into Stephen King's The Mist.
Throughout the whole story, though, he does talk about how oh, and you've got a little sinning here, and it's like, hey, nobody's perfect, am I right? And everybody is just like, no one can fault you, Dante. You're just the greatest guy on earth, So Dante and Virgil are ferried across the Acheron River by Charon, traditional ferryman of the river Styx. They arrive at hell proper, which is a spiraling path leading ever downwards towards the center of the earth. Those who have sinned worse than those before them are further from God's warmth. The information is all too much for Dante, so he faints.
Sorry, that was
good
so
landing.
I tried really hard to make it land on the beanbag, my bad. Anyway, go on.
Don't tell people that I'm an adult with 2 beanbags.
You bought the beanbags, you bitch.
I didn't know they would be so big.
You made this room in your house to be your book garage, and then you installed giant-assed beanbags.
It was supposed to be like 2, like one on each corner, but they were a lot bigger than I thought that they would be.
They're big boys.
They're very, very big. Mm-hmm. So, the first circle of hell is Limbo, where Virgil himself belongs. This is the land of the unbaptized and the pagans who didn't accept Christ, or rather, they didn't live in a time where they could. So these people's only punishment is that they can't go to heaven, and they just kind of hang out. In this place is a what?
No, go on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, the whole thing with the people before them is that they're doomed to neither heaven nor hell. These other people, though, are like,
Just when you have a point, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so of course I know about, like, Dante's Inferno and, like, all these, like, levels of hell and shit. What I don't know is, okay, so as he goes over his, levels of hell and all that shit,
yeah.
Is that all him?
Yes.
So, like, the levels of hell shit, and that's not official, like, Catholic shit or Christian shit or anything like that, so this is entirely...
Like mentioned before, in the Bible, they mention hell twice, and it doesn't seem that bad. It doesn't say you're doomed there forever. It doesn't say that it's even a physical place. It's just, hell exists. It is a thing. It could be ergot poisoning, but, like, he was the first one to... I mean, it was established that hell was a place due to, Catholic churches and whatnot wanting more money and saying, hey, give us money or you're going to hell, that kind of stuff. But still, it was...
Yeah, and then like, hey, where do the unbaptized babies go?
Yeah, all that people knew
then
was...
Did they borrow that from Dante? Was
Yes.
that not a thing before?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Okay.
basically created hell. I really wish... If the Catholic Church
Really
had
expanded on the hell universe.
Yeah, if
Like-
if the Catholic Church had bigger balls, they would like canonize Dante, which would be cool as shit. Like patron saint of hell, like fuck yeah, brother, no, or a fan fiction maybe.
All right, cool.
So in this place, in Limbo, is a castle, and where beyond it is a meadow where the people can frolic. Here lives a bunch of Dante's favorite authors who, I mean, he had to place them in hell. They're not Christians, but he didn't want to completely shit on them either. So here in Limbo resides people like Homer, Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, Julius Caesar.
You guys are cool, but you can't come to the party.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, like I can't talk my way loophole.
I don't want to look
out of
lame
this.
in front of God. So I'm sorry you can't come in, but y'all are cool.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, he's a huge fan of Julius Caesar. Dante really felt like the world went to shit after his death, which I mean, look at us. I can't blame him. He is
After,
right.
I mean, he was born into a world of shit.
I was born in a world
Of shit.
What's that from? Fuck.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, thank you. So after shooting the
No,
shit,
it wasn't I was born into... No, I am living in a world of shit. And then he snaps, and then he ends up shooting the drill sergeant.
you know, he's Kingpin and Daredevil, the Netflix series.
Must have gained a bunch of weight. Even more so. Anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
Go on.
So
No,
after
we're doing
shooting-
the thing. No, we don't do
After
that.
shooting the shit with the philosophers for a little bit, Dante and Virgil descend to the second level of hell. Here is where hell truly begins, and the judge of hell, King Minos, the Grecian king who sacrificed children to his son, the Minotaur, resides. When you go to hell, King Minos will decide your eternal fate by judging you by your worst sin and wrapping his snake-like tail around his body to indicate which circle of hell you'll be placed. If he wraps his tail around himself 5 times, you'll go to the 5th
Look,
level.
remember that when you die. This is going to be very important.
You have to walk there. We're out of golf carts.
Remember that 5 times? Badsies.
6 times, worsies.
Worse seas?
They continue on to the circle of lust, where men and women are spun violently in a whirlwind, as if to say, you getting jostled? I'll jostle ya.
That's
Huh?
retarded.
Yeah, I know.
God damn it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You said the no word.
Yeah, no, we're trying to not. I'm sorry. We're trying to work that out of my vernacular.
Yeah, we're trying to be better people. Still hate.
I feel like
still hate Dutch people, though. You know.
Well, of course. I still hate Norwegians.
Fuck you.
My bad. Damn it.
Now, this level seems disproportionately female. I mean, I guess it makes sense for a guy like Dante in the 14th century to think any woman that flashes an armpit is kind of a slut.
No, this completely makes sense for him. What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like-
the Circle of Lust has people like
Was that
Cleopatra.
sarcasm? My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
No, he really, I mean, though, seriously, yeah. The Circle of Lust has people like Cleopatra, Helen of Troy, and a noblewoman named Francesca da Rimini, who actually only died like 25 years before Inferno.
Okay, look, if you're an attractive woman or a woman with power, you're just guilty of lust by default.
Yeah, pretty much. This is your fault. So,
It's your fault that I'm a fucking creep.
Francesca da Rimini, her whole story is pretty much that she married a guy for political power, but ended up nailing his brother for like 10 years. When the husband catches them, he kills them both. Now, interestingly, this story would have very much been lost today if it weren't for Dante popularizing her tale in Inferno. Like, he just brought up a true crime event that only happened 2 decades ago.
And put them in hell.
Yeah. I'll teach you to be murdered. Several paintings have since been made about Francesca da Rimini's affair, and she's sort of become a cheater legend. Either way,
The old school deep fake.
when Dante hears her tragic tale, again, he faints. This will become a theme for him, but I'm not going to bring it up each time. The guy's a little dramatic. And so Dante...
So is it supposed to be him going through?
Yeah, him and Virgil are basically walking through, and he's interviewing
And it's supposed to be
people
like
along the way.
it's the writer himself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It is not. Yeah, it is him. This is an autobiography, if you will. Basically, is how he makes it.
God, that's really dramatic.
He's very
No,
dramatic.
just to think that like a
He's
dude
a theater kid.
No, just to say, like a dude who's like just seen that much fucking violence and crazy shit go on, like that makes you faint.
That's a fair point.
Like,
yeah.
are you fucking kidding me? Like, no. Like,
That's actually a very good point. He's possibly murdered people before.
what do you mean
And he
he's
just-
possibly murdered people before?
And he just fades.
He's 100% stone cold. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know 100%. We don't have
No,
fully
dude,
accurate
no.
details of
Full-
the
full-
12 battles.
full warrior poet, like Ice Cube.
All right, that's true.
Yeah, yeah, like,
As Saint Dog once said.
yeah, dude.
Down to the double. And so Dante and Virgil arrive at the third circle, gluttony. This one really hits home for me. All right. Those who consumed more than they need.
You don't have to exclude yourself here, brother. I mean, every single episode we're here, like, slamming beers and then talking about how we're gonna, like, make an order of hot wings, or I've, like, brought you over some, like, redonk meat dish we're then gonna grill. Like,
But remember, your greatest sin is where you're placed. You can't just be fat, murder 12 people, and be like, God, I hope I go to the circle of hell that has gluttons. No, you're gonna go in for murder. Like, you know.
all right,
So, we still got time. I could get worse. So, those who consumed more than they need are doomed to wander in a swamp of bile, as they're rained on by cold, putrid rain. It's only here that our duo run into the ancient
you thought your
Grecian-
tummy was upset after that night of drinking, now you're in the tummy. Forever! Fuck!
I can now refer to my stomach as the third circle of hell. I'm proud of that. It's also here that our duo run into the ancient Grecian three-headed beast, Cerberus. Cerberus,
Dude,
will...
him incorporating this into this.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he was a fanboy of all these old tales, so I mean that's how a lot of people just remember it. Cerberus will be eternally fed by feasting on the fucking fat of the gluttons, tearing off their flesh while they wade in the bile, only for their skin to grow back and undergo the torture all over again.
Holy shit. Until the end of time?
Yeah, hell yeah. Until
Hey, at least they're saying time will end there.
yeah. I mean, it's until Judgment Day, where basically we get a hard redo.
Don't even go over that with what's going on right now. No, we're skimming up. No, we don't talk about that.
It's here, in the third circle of hell, that Virgil speaks to one of the damned, a man by the name of Ciacco, meaning hog. Ciacco is a fellow Florentine who has a prediction that the Guelphs will split into black and white factions.
Wait, we're back on this now?
Well, because it's the year 1300. 9 years have actually passed since then.
All right,
but
all right.
he's saying, this is what happened, and look at him predicting shit.
Okay.
And Pope Boniface will commit horrible deeds to kick the white Guelphs out of the country. And yeah, this did happen, but it's not really a prophecy because it was written much, much later. After throwing gobs of mud at Cerberus for him to eat, Virgil and Dante sneak their way past. Like
I know how to trick him. We'll throw dirt.
everyone's just watching like, been here 56 fucking years, and I never knew you could do that.
I never thought to throw dirt. I thought we were just fucked. I
There's
don't know.
loopholes. Meanwhile, all the guys that are like in hell,
Everybody just wallowing in the bile just sucks at Dark Souls.
all the fucking philosophers are watching from their little field, just like, buddy, if you find a way into heaven, just, I mean, let us know. You know?
Did you try throwing the mud? You've been here forever. You didn't try picking up the you haven't just, you haven't gotten tired about getting your lard eaten, like,
So they
by
go
a three-headed...
in the fourth circle of hell, greed. Guarding their way is the Greek god of wealth, Plutus, who repeats a maddening repetition. And I think this is cool. Pape Satan, elepe.
Pape Satan?
No. Here's the cool. This is the interesting thing about this line. It's 3 fucking words. Pape, Satan, elepe. And about a dozen ways to translate it. You can translate this line in Greek, French, Italian, Hebrew, Arabic, Latin, and all of these languages have multiple possibilities as well. In Greek, he could be saying, O Satan, O God, O King, or he could be saying... Or he
That's
could be
so
saying,
metal.
Yeah, or he
Anyway,
could be
go on.
saying, damn you, Satan, oh God. Or in Italian, Father Satan, my God. Or in Arabic, the door of Satan, keep going down. We will never know what
Maybe-
Dante meant.
I mean, did he have access to that?
Yeah,
To, like,
'cause
those
here's the
resources
thing.
at the time? Is that why he wrote it
He
like that?
spoke all of those languages, but
Oh.
not very well. if he meant for this phrase Pape Satan, Alepe to be a secondary language, then he was probably always going to be making spelling mistakes, which also makes its translation even harder to decipher. So it kind of translates into
That's
everything.
pretty cool. So he
It's
like made it intentionally ambiguous.
Yeah. I mean,
that's great.
He probably meant for it to be one, but we'll never know which one it is because he was like, chapter 2 of Duolingo for all these languages,
Okay, wait, but so all of these guardians and all these things we're like running through are like Greek gods, right?
Yeah.
So
Greek and Roman, yeah.
So is he saying that because they weren't following like
Christianity,
mm-hmm. then they were sent into hell and then they started.
Yeah, in a way.
That's why they're there?
And basically, in a way, these gods were made manifest by the people, but when these gods eventually died,
then they still went to the actual
to real hell.
Yeah.
So these are gods in hell. Yeah.
Isn't
that great?
I mean, yeah.
But interestingly,
especially considering how old this shit is, that's rad as fuck.
But here's the thing about that phrase. Dante doesn't know what Plutus is saying in the book either. He doesn't know which language he's speaking. So it is like you're saying, yeah, he made it purposely ambiguous. He says he doesn't quite understand the phrase, but Virgil does. And Virgil sees the phrase as some kind of threat. So Dante and Virgil make their way past Plutus and into the land of greed. Here, those that hoard... Man, I want a fucking tattoo of Pape Satan, Alepe. Like fucking rad.
What does that mean? I don't know.
Nobody knows.
No one...
Fucking geek. Man, I gotta get beaten up in my 30s for the stupid shit I say. That's like... Man, just something about me makes me want to steal your lunch money.
Give me your lunch money. I'm 34.
Give me your card. So they make their way into the land of greed. Here, those that hoarded and coveted their wealth push around big bags of gold that have a little tear in it, so they keep dropping their money and arguing with each other over whose gold is whose. They're so busy bitching with each other that Dante can't bother to interview anyone, so they just move on. So Dante and Virgil...
I was lucky.
Yeah. I guess it goes to show, if you're going to commit one sin,
that's
be
it
greedy
for the
more.
section.
Yeah. Be greedy more than anything else. Then you could just kind of...
It's just a bunch of dudes sitting in there just arguing about who has collected what little bit of dirt from the ground.
Pretty much.
And then two dudes at the center just kind of tugging back and forth at a sack of coins.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're just going to move along here.
Yeah. Look, they can't all be zingers. So Dante and Virgil make their way across the fifth circle, Wrath, through a swamp over the banks of the river Styx.
Oh, this will be great.
It's there that they're picked up by Phlegyas, the son of Ares, to ferry them across. As the three make their way across the river...
It's the god of war. This will be fine. He'll drop us off somewhere totally not scary.
And he put us at 8 Mile, Detroit. As the three make their way across the river Styx, they see the uncalm waves are made by the wrathful souls fighting one another to reach air at the top of the water. They kick and pull each other under the waves to get their chance to breathe.
Damn. That's... All right.
One man who leeches onto their boat is a man named Filippo Argenti. This is a guy Dante knew personally.
No, it's cool. You can trust me to bring it onto the boat. Look, you made it to the top of this shit. You're dangerous. No, dude.
Do you know how many people you had to fight to get here?
No, you're a fucking psychopath. Get off my boat.
So this guy, Dante knew him, and he was actually probably still alive when Inferno came out. So he would have made a laughingstock of this. In real life, Filippo was a black Guelph, and seeing Dante in the streets of Florence before he was exiled slapped Dante across the face. A very public embarrassment. Also, when Dante was finally exiled, Filippo let his brother...
A very public and very Italian embarrassment.
When Dante was exiled, though, Filippo let his brother ransack all of Dante's shit. So it was personal.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
So here, Filippo Argenti was placed among the wrathful in the river of Styx. And when he sees Dante, he insults him before being torn apart by the other damned. And as he fights back in his confusion, Filippo starts biting himself and tearing his own flesh. Now,
Okay, so
granted,
he's just gone completely fucking insane,
Yeah.
down in the fucking giant swelling mass of kill each other undead.
yeah, no, granted, this is actually a pretty tame insult given today's standards, but you have to remember that Inferno was one of the first, and certainly the most famous, diss track in history. The shame the Argenti family felt upon the release of Inferno caused Filippo's sons to move to Spain and change their names.
Okay, once again, like we talked about in Casanova, imagine the time when that's all you had to do was move a little ways.
But dude, that fucking sucks.
It's fucking fine.
That is several territories over, I guess.
Fucking boo-hoo. I don't even want to tell you where I've had to fucking move with my broke-ass family. Like...
Anyway, on the other side of the river Styx is a towering wall and large red towers guarded by fallen angels. This is the city of Dis, where behind its walls, shut up, are the truly violent dead. It's here that Dante and
They're
Virgil...
not in the Wrath bit?
No. Well, they were...
we're still in Wrath.
They're technically in Wrath, but this is a city within Wrath, I think.
You got your ocean of people killing the fuck out of each other and suffocating in a pile, and now we're in the city.
That was just the moat.
So the guys that broke out of the pile, now they're in here killing each other. And they respawn in the pool.
Yeah. And so it's here that Dante and Virgil are accosted by winged half-bird, half-woman creatures known as Furies, and Medusa, who doesn't allow them to enter the city. It's here that Dante's like, why aren't they letting us in? Don't they know who you are? Virgil, have you ever been this far into hell? He's like, yeah, tons of times, which is an obvious lie since he was doomed to limbo way at the beginning.
You could tell by the tone.
Well, they do end up inside the city of Dis, thanks to an angel from heaven that comes down and opens the door for them. They make their way through the city and enter the 6th layer of hell, where lies the heretics. The heretics are stuck in open coffins bursting with fire. Now remember, between the Guelphs and the Ghibellines, and later the Black and White Guelphs, Dante had been in 2 holy wars. So of course, he's going to place his enemies here with the heretics. And if you'll remember, one of the descriptions of hell in the Bible talked about a grave filled with flames. So these guys are being given the most biblical hell treatment.
Okay, so everybody else overcome by wrath that was on his side is now in the sea of people crawling over each other, and anybody who wasn't on his side is now just burning in a fucking coffin.
Yeah, basically.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, hey, at least you get your swimming exercise with the other guys, you know?
What I call that? I picture that more as just like, you ever been trampled in a mosh pit?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that. I mean, yeah.
Except where someone's actually trying to kill you. Yeah.
Among them is someone who was Dante's best friend's dad, Cavalcante de Cavalcante.
The fucking
yeah,
what?
I know. Look, I thought it was kind of odd though. Like Dante and his friend must have thought his dad was a total dick. Like it's just really weird. Like, yeah, throw my dad in there, dude. Fuck that guy.
Throw my dad in there with those dudes. Wait, was his dad wasn't the head cutty off dude?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
No.
No,
Okay.
We have not seen that guy yet.
That would be way too well written for it to be true. Yeah.
No, just hey, can you put my stepdad Mark in there? Like, well, on the outskirts of the 7th circle is the famous Minotaur, constantly bashing his head against the rock walls and chewing his own flesh in anger. Virgil and Dante.
God, that's scary as shit. Like you see the Minotaur, he slams his head into something, and you're like, "Fuck!" And then he just starts eating himself, and you're like, "Fuck!"
I do really like though that whole image when he was on the boat of that guy who's just like, "I slapped you once. Hey, fuck you!" You know, like
Stop doing "fuck you."
I like him getting pulled back. And, like, as he's, like, trying to fight everyone off so animalistically, he himself is getting torn to shreds. So as he's, like, biting his own arm in confusion and, like, tearing off his own flesh, he thinks he's really doing some damage. And he doesn't notice it at all because he's feeling that pain anyway.
He's just that fucking mad with, like, being a violent piece of shit. As if this guy also didn't murder the fuck it. Anyway.
Again. Like, he's fine. He fought for the right side. Virgil and Dante narrowly escape the Minotaur and enter the 7th layer of hell, that is, violence. The 7th layer consists of 3 inner rings. The first is reserved for those that commit violence against neighbors. Here the violent are boiled alive in a lake of scalding hot blood, and if they rise too far above the surface, centaurs patrolling the area will shoot them full of arrows. In the circle,
Big centaur bow and arrows.
in this circle is Attila the Hun, Alexander the Great, and a few of Dante's past enemies from the Guelph Ghibelline War. Seeing the war-hungry centaurs, Virgil and Dante kind of meekishly ask one of these bloodthirsty creatures if they can walk the shoreline to get to the next section on the other
didn't
side.
think I would get this far, up to you, honestly. But now that we're here, like, hey, I'm gonna roll the dice. Can we be cool?
Yeah, he's basically just like, yeah, come on, I'll take you there. It's all good. Like,
Yeah,
he's
man,
just
it's cool.
Like he's just a really stand-up-ish guy, you know. He works on a podcast on the weekends, and he works for
Works
an
on
IT
a
company.
podcast on the weekends, listen to Harry Potter fan fiction, you know.
Shut the fuck up! The next ring is...
Or reads, excuse me. I'll shut up. My bad.
No, I let it read because it's mostly read by the children. The next ring is violence against self.
I don't know if I should joke about... Okay, go on.
This is the suicide forest. Here lie the people who have committed or attempted suicide.
That's deeper?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because basically you're committing the sin of God's gift. He put you on this earth, and it doesn't matter how shitty your life is. You're here for a reason, and you're going against
I feel
God's
like
word.
it's kind of like fucked up.
It is. It's very fucking.
I mean, it's very
it
fucked up
sucks.
to like place you like it's like no. You were gonna end your life, but you didn't make it, so it was of some use to society when you lost
But also,
your life.
you know, I will say this: like it's a forest that's between a lake, and I want to say the next section is a desert. So I think maybe he was doing it for like scenery kind of thing. Like it makes sense, kind of like, you know.
I mean,
he's a D&D nerd just trying to map out his fucking place, you know. So whatever. So anyway. These people who have...
No, I mean, the dude is fucked up. Never mind. Excuse me.
That is
But
true.
like...
Yeah, for sure. So, the suicide forest, anyone who's committed or attempted suicide have been transformed into thorny trees, and harpies swoop down and peel away at their bark and eat the meat and bloody sinew underneath. The trees in Suicide Forest are among the only souls in hell that won't be redeemed after Judgment Day, as they have already thrown away the gift of their bodies that God gave them. They're ungrateful. This was actually lifted from the Aeneid, Virgil's book, but I think Dante's version is way cooler. Like he sees one tree of a man who like where this happened, but like
I kind of feel like like I don't know, man. I feel like that might be him kind of throwing in some. I mean, with as rough of a life as he led, I'm sure he like thought about that a lot.
Well, actually.
So,
While they're in the suicide forest, Dante gets a little antsy, and scholars believe it's because at the beginning of the story, when Dante's newly exiled and lost in the woods, it's because he was out there to kill himself, looking for a quiet place to die. I'm just going to say
that thought might have been what kept him.
Yeah.
That might have been some like weird little construct he had in his head to like keep him from.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just going to have that as an aside because it doesn't become like relevant later on or anything.
It's not legit or a healthy way to get yourself out of thinking like that. If you are, please get help. But...
Yeah, I just, you know, I'm not going to go into the evidence to support this theory because, like I said, this epic is written with layers upon layers. I just don't want to get into it. I just thought it was neat. Like, every sentence and every paragraph of this is like Pape Satan, Pape Sente, Satan, Alepe.
Pape Senpai?
This is Pape Senpai.
Pape Senpai.
Call me Daddy Senpai. Yeah, no, it's all like that. The entire thing is just chock full of footnotes. It is so hard to get through. It's beautiful, but Jesus Christ. Anyway, so.
Oh, dear. Proceed.
Anyway, running through the forest from time to time are spendthrifts, people who spend ridiculously. They're running. So these aren't the greedy people that hoard their wealth, I guess. These are people who just spend lavishly. For some reason, that's a sin. You can't spend your worth.
Okay,
Anyways.
wait, no. Okay, no. This entire fucking story, the entirety of Dante's Inferno, is just his, like, in his last days, making just mad old men judgments about all the people.
Oh, yeah,
around him.
basically. Yeah. So these spendthrifts are running through this thorny forest, running from not frolicking. I said running. They're running from the next section of hell and getting chased down and devoured by dogs.
I'm gonna go drop ones for Titty. Try and catch me, tree.
As Dante and Virgil
In an eternal run for strip club. They will never stop.
It was worth it. As Dante and Virgil
She was very nice.
She said she was going to college. As Dante and Virgil come to this third and final ring. I don't care what she does with the money. She's earned it. Dante learns...
Yeah, it's bullshit. No, it's a legitimate job. You gave her the money.
It was an even exchange.
Doesn't matter what she's doing with it.
Dante learns that this is the ring of violence against God, art, and nature. This is where the blasphemers, who are violent against God, sodomites against nature, and usurers, people committing usury.
Sodomites and get usury.
Which is...
My bad. Sorry for interrupting.
Which is taking advantage of other people's misfortune, which is somehow against art. I had to look that one up. You're just
That's... Okay, well, that's how our entire society functions now. So
they're all running around naked on burning sand as flames get cast down upon them. This is inspired by the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah, which, if you'll remember from Sunday school, suffered a similar fate.
No, I remember that from the...
Do you know of Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yeah, just from the Brad Neely bit on YouTube. So
that was probably pretty accurate. Without having seen it, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, you probably, yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's fine.
The pillar of salt bit and the sexy angels and the...
So, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I want to say Dante just calls them sodomites so he doesn't get real specific, but people conveniently leave out that the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah is butt fucking yes, as well as bestiality and getting your dick sucked.
Wait, what?
Nobody talks about blowjobs being a sin, but there it is. Literally in the Bible.
I'd go to hell for eternity for one blowjob. Fuck this man. Fuck
it's
him.
true. Well, no. That's the thing. He's saying it's just people that do butt stuff. But all I'm saying is a good Christian would know. Against animals, I'm down with that. Butt stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, just ask. But 3 blowjobs. That has been erased from history. They got rid of that as soon as
No, dude. They didn't fucking get rid of it because that's the whole Christian thing is that like sex is purely for procreation, not for your pleasure. You need to resist all of those natural urges that are in your fucking head to just like make your genitals feel good.
In certain sects. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, it is very specific.
No, I mean, that's fuking, like, underlying there in pretty much any place you're gonna goddamn join.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, molesting the altar boy would be real wrong. Wink. Like, they're not gonna give a service about blowjobs, but it's... Yeah. Nobody's saying it.
No, but it's the whole, like, wasted seed shit. It's just, like, horse shit.
Yeah.
Like all of them aren't fucking beating off.
Like, he wasn't beating off about another woman for fucking, 30 years while he's married with kids, just like... Anyway.
Well, that's fucking horse shit.
It's here in this flaming desert that Dante, of course, finds a few enemies. Particularly people who were close to Pope Boniface that financially fucked Dante out of his bank account once he was exiled. But it's not just Dante's enemies that are at this level. Brunetto Latini was Dante's guardian after his father's death. But here, he's here among the sodomites. And I know what you're thinking. Did Brunetto sodomize Dante when he was young? I personally don't think that this is the case. Dante shows sincere regret that Brunetto is being tortured.
I mean, I feel like if that was something that happened, this would be expressly...
It would be, yeah, exactly.
Very expressly with how he's... how he's going over everything else.
Oh, yeah. I think so. He shows here in Inferno and other writings that he had nothing but the utmost respect for Brunetto. If there was a reason, the records are lost and scholars can really only guess at it. But it is strange that he doomed this guy he likes so much to eternal hell rather than placing them in purgatory. Well, when Dante and Virgil get to the edge of the fiery sands, they face a huge cliff where they can't get down. Virgil calls upon a great mythological griffin-like creature called the Geryon for a ride down to the 8th circle of hell. On their ride down, Dante sees certain usurs with purses of gold hanging around their necks, and on them are emblazoned their family insignia. So Dante quickly calls out these families as a last little, also fuck you, and you, before proceeding to the next
God
level.
damn. Like,
in the first trench...
no, it's not petty. That's deep butthurt.
Yeah.
And it's earned butthurt.
It is.
By the way.
Oh,
like...
Now this Ring of Hell, fraud, has 10 trenches where 10 different kinds of fraudsters are tortured in 10 different ways.
Damn.
And each
so he's
has,
been fucked over by 10 different fraudsters in 10 different ways in his life.
Each has their own chapter, so I'm just going to cut straight to who they are and the kinds of torture they receive, because that's really what we're here for.
Let's fucking go!
In the first trench, we have the panders and seducers, who run in line while getting whipped by demons. Next, we have flatterers, who are just steeped in shit.
Did you guys check to make sure they didn't like that? No? I mean, alright, carry on. I don't want to do the
I'm getting flattered! No. Then we have simoniacs, who are people who sell official positions. Oh, okay.
What is that?
Well, you did really well at this interview for the position here at the company, but we're actually looking for somebody who's a little bit more blood-related. You know, that kind of thing.
Oh, what is that called again? No. There's a word for that in the workplace where they just start hiring people that are related to them. I cannot believe this word is escaping me right now. It's a... Come on. Like, you know, when they... you know, when the owner... No, when the owner... when the owner hires his kid and shit.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Nepotism.
Oh, nepotism. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And it's obnoxious and fuck you, you little shit. Anyway, go on.
I felt like that was specific. Like...
Yeah.
Daniel? No.
How could it be specific when it was so goddamn widespread to each and every one of you 5 kids?
These guys have their heads stuck in the ground, ass up, and their feet burned by fire. Dante talks to someone here who mentions this is where Pope Boniface is going to be when he dies. Then there are sorcerers, the flim-flam men who sell snake oil for profit.
Salesmen!
Yeah.
Just in general. That's
'em.
Great. Yeah,
Fuck
no.
'em. I hate
Put
them.
them deep down in there.
Solicitors. Deep. They have their heads on backward and forced to walk backwards for all eternity.
That's
so evil.
That's weak as shit.
I know. Next we have...
Dante, that's weak as shit.
Next we have barrators, which is what he calls corrupt politicians, who are boiled alive in pitch, and if they go above the surface, are poked and prodded by demons.
That was a very abrupt jump.
Oh, I know, right?
Your head's on backwards, and you don't know what's going on.
I mean,
no torture, though.
I think I can kind of figure it out. It's not a...
I mean, if I'm going to believe this, then I'm going into sales immediately, because that's the least horrifying thing he's described so far.
There's a quick part here where the demons lead Dante and Virgil to the next trench, and one of them farts. As beautifully...
Wait, really?
Yes, and I love this part.
Wait, straight up?
Yeah. As beautifully written by Dante, he made a trumpet of his ass. I had to include that.
So a demon bent over and was like... like straight up.
Yeah, he just fucking morning bugles that shit.
Oh my fucking god. Oh, thank god that was closed.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, next is the hypocrites, who have to walk around...
That was a little rough. Why don't we just break this up real quick?
Next is the hypocrites, who have to walk around in weighted lead robes. Another lame punishment. But also here is Caiaphas, the judge at Jesus' trial. Not Pontius Pilate, as people think, who was actually the governor. Caiaphas is staked into a giant cross which lies on the ground, and anyone passing by must throw their weighted robes on him. So Caiaphas is slowly getting crushed by the continuous hypocrisy of the world.
And it's just like a giant fucking pit of robes stacked upon the guy, and you're like, Caiaphas, how you doing?
Says he's good. More robes! Next is the Trench of Thieves, and this is a weird one. So you're agonizingly breaking your body, turning into a snake, and then back into human form, just back and forth anamorphing. And sometimes the other snakes turn on you and break your bones, constricting you, and then you turn into fire and get reborn again. That one's a bit of a mishmash. I feel like he could have done that one over the like some of the other ones. Like
that was like he just had dice and was assigning different things for the roles. Sha! All right. Well.
He just had his son Jacopo doing Mad Libs and just like, what you got there?
Ooh, what you got? Snake eyes.
All right, I'm down. Next up are the counselors of frauds, people who give bad advice for personal gain. These guys are just burned alive, no big deal. But Dante places Ulysses here, which I think is a bit harsh. He's being punished for tricking Troy into taking the Trojan horse. But also someone who is an advisor to Pope Boniface is here. Now this guy says, this isn't fair. Pope Boniface blessed me before I died. I'm not supposed to be here. This is bullshit. And the thing is, the Pope is supposed...
you took advice from a man named Boner Fist. Fuck you.
Well, here's the thing, though. The Pope is supposed to be heavenly anointed, an extension of God. And if Pope Boniface's blessing means nothing, it means the papacy made a mistake in appointing him, meaning God doesn't live through Pope Boniface at all. Yeah!
Weird. It's almost as if it's just a dude.
Get 14th century slammed, bitch!
Yeah. Weird.
Next we have the Sowers of Discord, rabble-rousers, who get hacked to bits for all eternity by a demon with a big sword.
Rabble-rousers?
Just don't rabble
Why
that.
did we get to this layer of hell and, like, everything before was very general, and now we're, like, definitely going down into, like...
Right? I know.
Just as he goes on.
Among them is Muhammad.
What?
Whoa! Yeah, it's there. Hey, what?
No. Hey.
Then finally...
No. Think about that for a second. Really think about that.
What?
Really, I trust you, brother, but...
I'm just saying, he puts Muhammad in there.
Okay, cool.
What?
I don't know. Just, have you thought this through? Are we doing...
Then finally, we have the falsifiers.
Okay, I trust you. I don't know anything about it. So,
pure
go ahead.
Just pure fucking liars. They are afflicted with every disease imaginable. And after 12 hours wandering the great expanse of hell, Dante and Virgil finally make it to the last circle of hell. Treachery. Traitors to the kin, country, guests, and lords are forever stuck in ice made from Satan's tears. Shut up. It's cooler than you're thinking.
No, I'm literally just cracking up about how metal this shit is. Like,
his fucking...
I'm probably going to listen to this later and be like, oh man, I should have thrown that in. But for now, no, I'm completely going over it. Where are we at?
Oh, he's just got his fucking Backstreet Boys posters on his fucking wall, just crying. Just...
All right!
So the water is frozen because they are the furthest from God's warmth. Here, of course, Dante places all of the former leaders of his enemies, among which are some historical figures that commit heinous war crimes. Among them is the traitor of the Battle of Monteperti, the guy who cut off the flag waver's head, Bocca degli Abati. Also, one of my favorite little tidbits is in this part. There are these two brothers who killed one another over their inheritance, and the one brother is after the other, even though he's trapped in ice. He says that even if he manages to move the ice just a little bit every year, he's one day going to catch up with him and fucking murder him all over again. Which I love. And, of course, in the very center of hell is the six-winged demon king himself, Satan!
Six-winged demon king.
Oh, hell yeah. Now, in Dante's Inferno, Satan is a towering Goliath with 3 faces, each eternally chewing the biggest traitors in the history of mankind.
Eternally chewing? I just pictured, like... Okay, wait, 3 faces...
His jawbones are nuts.
3 faces on one head or 3 different heads?
3 faces on one head.
3 faces on one head, and when you said chewing, I immediately jumped through, like, just a whole can of skull in each face.
Well, what they are chewing on, they are, of course, Judas Iscariot, and Brutus.
Oh, shit.
Brutus and Cassius, 2 guys that helped orchestrate Julius Caesar's assassination. And as it turns out, Dante was a huge fan of Caesar, as I mentioned, so he took this quite personally.
So that's one mouth, that's the other mouth. What's in the third mouth?
Oh, no, it's those 2 guys.
Oh,
so
shit.
one for Judas, one for Brutus, and one for Cassius. And he really took...
And they're all just fucking packing mad yomps at Grizzly Wintergreen?
Yeah. I mean, he took Julius Caesar's death quite hard for somebody who was born 1,300 years after his death. But, So walking past Satan's 6 weeping eyes, Dante and Virgil climb down Satan's chest hair into the hole in the ice, where gravity suddenly reverses itself, so the duo are climbing upwards. When they climb out of the hole in the ground, they come upon a great mountain. You see, when Dante fell to hell, the earth was repulsed by his presence and shot upwards, creating the mountain of purgatory, and at its peak is the entrance to heaven. Quote, through chasm within the stone, which it has gnawed, with course that winds, that winds about, and slightly
Would you
falls.
like to start over? Would you like to use your start over token?
No. The guide and I, into that hidden road, now entered, to return to the bright world, and without care of having any rest, we mounted up, he first and I second, till I beheld, through a round aperture, some of those beauteous things which heaven doth bear. Thence we came forth, to re-behold the stars.
I understood none of that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's ancient poetry.
Okay.
Now, all I can say...
It's an ancient poetry that was... It's a new kind of poetry. It's called stalker poetry.
He didn't invent this one. The stalker poetry was a different kind. He didn't even use it. That's why I didn't bother to explain it to you. Now, all I can say...
Didn't bother.
All I can say about the reaction when Inferno came out was, holy fuck. Remember when Dante named the family those Users belonged to with the embroidered purses? Yeah, those families built churches as fast as they fucking could to prove that they were good people, and Dante just didn't know what he was talking about.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I mean, people took this shit very seriously.
People were like, shit, time to dump funds.
Yeah.
Dump.
Dante pretty much put Pope Boniface's whole crew in hell.
Like, loan.
And man, was Pope Clement pissed. The hunt was on to find Dante, but he and his whole family were hiding out with friends and they would never be found. And so, of course, Dante started writing the sequel right away. Now, I'll kind of paraphrase the next novel because let's face it, Dante's Inferno is a household name. There are a lot of people who don't know it's the first part in a trilogy, and there's a good reason for it. The other 2 books just aren't as fun. I actually like Purgatorio the best, but I get it, you know? So moving on to the next book, Dante and Virgil find themselves at the foot of the mountain purgatory. There are 7 sections, all representing a deadly sin that you must resolve your soul of before climbing to heaven. How difficult it is on each level is based on how much that sin was a part of your life. You might be rolling a rock that's bigger than others on one level, then have to swim in slower rapids than other people on the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just get to lust and then you are immediately crushed and sent back down.
I mean, but you'll stay on that level. You already passed your last one, but yes. Also, you have to rest when the sun goes down, because it means God's not watching over you, so you have to stop. Virgil and Dante are granted entry at the gates by an angel that carves the letter P 7 times on Dante's forehead.
P.
Representing peccatum, meaning sin. At each
No, dude.
He peed right on his
No,
forehead.
No, it's fine. It totally represents a peccatum. Why'd you draw the cock and balls? Don't worry about it. Like, are you questioning me? I'll send you back down the mountain.
I will fanfiction you so hard into hell.
Just stop laughing.
At each level of the mountain, Dante will have one of these letters vanish from his skin. So the journey begins on Easter Sunday. Wouldn't it be sick, though, if you really pretend this shit was real, though? He did carve, 7 P's into his forehead and start walking around town and shit, just like, I told you it was real. That would be fucking sick.
Well, no, he can't. He's exiled, so.
Yeah. No, he would be hung, but it would be
Well, no,
cool
then
as
it would make
balls.
everything, way less legitimate, and then we'd be going over...
No, he'd be a martyr.
No. Then we'd be going over all the accounts of him being a fucking wingnut.
Well, yes.
Instead of this.
I think he was a wingnut.
I mean, a dignified wingnut.
Yeah. So the journey begins on Easter Sunday, and the first terrace is Pride. People have to walk up the mountain with a boulder on their backs as they walk past statues showing people who were both good and bad examples of pride. So you have Satan as a bad example, and a generous ruler as a good one. On the second terrace is Envy, where everyone wears the same gray cloak to symbolize how you're no better or worse than anybody else.
Yeah.
Which is strange because everyone's eyes are sewn shut as well. So everyone has to blindly make their way up the mountain while whispered in the air are stories of people's humbleness. It's creepy. I don't like that one.
Yeah, that's...
The next is Wrath, where you have to walk around in a blinding smoke that symbolizes how anger blinds us. And after that is sloth.
I don't know. I feel pretty fucking zeroed in when I'm pit.
Yeah.
Like,
right for the nose, right for the fucking nose.
like,
after that is sloth, where everyone is just so goddamn slow. That's really it for that one.
each of these speak to me.
And then there's greed, where you lay face down in the dirt and recite Bible passages. I don't know how that one is supposed to be measured. Like, you're in less dirt than others. Like, I don't know. The 6 terrors...
Isn't this greed, and which is like, we're not gonna... Okay, so lay face down in the dirt, and that's a bad metaphor on purpose, because I don't want you guys to think about how that relates to how we structure our society.
Yeah, to be fair, looking back, like, reflecting on all this shit, so I read these books in high school, but, like, although that may have been a long time ago, with this book being my favorite one, I'm only now realizing how much more I remember about Inferno, because it's just so much cooler. So, I mean, fuck, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The 6th terrace is gluttony, where you're starving and there's fruit hanging from trees just out of reach. So that's just kind of dicky. But then why not just go to the person who's shorter than
that
you and go to his
matter.
tree?
That doesn't have anything to do with you, with punishing you for being a glutton. That's just like, you're literally starving and dangling the fucking fruit.
Just go to a shorter guy's tree, you know? Like,
no, that doesn't teach you. It's like, well, hey, what if you didn't have anything? You're like, no, punish them for having things while other people didn't, and they were in excess. Like, I don't
know. And then
anyway.
Finally there's lust, where you're burned alive.
Wait, really? That's it?
Yeah. No, I mean it. You have to run through fire, and I guess little by little it hurts less. I don't really know.
They just
I
straight
think that's
punish you for wanting pussy?
Yeah.
Or fucking dick?
Pervert!
Like, what the fuck?
I was married to my wife for 22 years before I had a child.
I did obsess about that woman, but I never gave in and talked to her because it was super scary.
And we'll get to that. And of course, Dante runs into friends who have died in the past while he's on this journey, but he couldn't deny them their faults, otherwise people would know he's playing favorites, so he puts them there in purgatory. When Dante and Virgil get to the top, Virgil has to stop being Dante's guide, because he's not allowed into heaven. He still has to pay for his penance in hell. So the clouds open up, and the most pure and beautiful angel appears to guide Dante on the rest of his journey. Beatrice.
This fucking dude.
All right, now here's the thing.
Okay, dude, he would be a completely badass guy if it wasn't for this weird fucking Beatrice obsession that we keep coming
obsession.
back to when we're just like, brother, like cut the shit, like.
Yeah, and so, okay, I'm not really going to go into Il Paradiso at all, because it's boring as fuck, but basically Dante reaches the end and sees God at the end. So, basically, as I mentioned before, I read all 3 of these books in high school, but, like, the first one, like, Inferno, went by pretty fucking rapid fire, and fucking, like, Purgatorio took actually less time. Like, that one was a really good, interesting read. But Il Paradiso, heaven is so fucking boring. It's basically different circles of light, where, like, basically there's different circles of angels. They're not doing anything crazy or exciting like they are in Purgatory or Hell. They're just, the ones that are closer to God's light are, like, you know, more holy than the ones that aren't. And that's pretty much it. And it's interviewing famous saints and shit like that, and it's boring as fuck. What I will say, though, is what I really like is, remember when he made, like, the monarchy or whatever like that, and he was saying, like, how cool it is that to have a king rule over Florence or whatever, when he wanted the Luxembourg king to come fucking run shit?
No.
Well, so he he really had a thing for, like, kings and princes. He was really a thing for, like, royalty. Royal people should be at the top. Like, that was his whole thing in real life. Oh. So in heaven,
I almost liked him.
In heaven,
thank you for bringing me back down.
There's a little patch of land where basically royalty runs and frolics and free. Basically, he knows they're not smart enough to actually do good work because they're tied down by the people, man. It's not their fault that they can't become more holy, you know? So anyway, yeah, he gives them an out.
Okay, hate that.
Yeah. And dude, Il Paradiso took me like 3 years to fucking read, because it was like one of those things where it was like by my bedside, I'd try to read like a page or two, and then every night I'd be like, What else am I reading? Like, it was bad.
Like a 15-year-old doing his 50 sit-ups before bed. If he's a little chubby.
I wouldn't know. So anyway, in 1315, after 13 years in exile, those that were banished from their homes after the political and military upheaval in 1302 were now granted amnesty, so long as you pay just a small fine. Dante still said, "Fuck you." So now his punishment to enter Florence would be an even heavier fine and some corporal punishment, probably flogging, if he wanted back.
Oh no.
Stop it, don't make it harder. When there was a political shift in the city that same year, they said Dante could come back, but he'd just be under house arrest. Again, Dante said, "Fuck you." But this time, the politicians were so sick of
fuck you, reinstate me as a citizen,
Yeah.
or I'm not coming back.
Well, they were so sick of dealing with him, they said, "No, fuck you," and sentenced not just him, but his sons to death, should he ever return to Florence.
Damn! God damn!
They essentially banned the entire Alighieri.
Imagine waiting a year for that letter and you get it back
Right?
and it's like, no, we'll fucking kill you. You're like, all right, I'm sorry, boys.
All right, unpack your bags. They banned the entire Alighieri lineage from entering Florence under threat of killing every male in the family. Anyway,
Damn.
yeah. Well, Dante actually passed away before Paradiso could
No
be
balls
released.
will mix with this population.
He passed away before the last book could be released. Supposedly, he completed it just a few hours before his death. Don't know how true that is, though. Dante died
Yeah,
in...
it's a bit...
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds like legend. Dante died in 1321, probably around September 14th, of probably malaria, while he and his family were still in hiding. And he didn't shit himself either.
Oh, shit. My bad.
Fool.
I done kicked the table.
That's a flogging.
Excuse me.
Paradiso was released about a year later to absolute fanfare, of course. He was buried in Ravenna, Italy, where he spent the last years of his life. His funeral was held in secret by close friends and family, as well as the monks of the local church. As for Pope Clement V, he was killed by a fire started by lightning that burnt his church down while he slept. It's said that his body was so burned, they barely had anything to recover. He died back on 4/20, 1314 at the age of 50. Now that's what I call blazing it.
If only it were, to be dead on 69. Like Lemmy Kilmister.
Saint Lemmy!
Anyway.
Now, the collected works of Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso were called Dante's Comedy until 1955, when a Florentine pressing company called it the Divine Comedy, and everyone afterwards just kind of followed suit.
Yeah, it's a comedy. Don't take it as a serious critique of our...
Well, back then, you only had two choices for a story, a comedy or a tragedy. And you'd think Wandering the Expanse of Hell would be a tragedy, but since no one dies at the end, it's considered a comedy instead. While Dante never quite went out of style, it wasn't until William Blake's art of Inferno in the 1820s that brought back intrigue. Also, the famous statue of the Thinker by Rodin is actually a larger casting from a figure on top of his massive Gates of Hell depicting scenes from Inferno, with Dante at the top making the Thinker pose, reflecting on all of his ideas.
What's the Thinker pose?
That's the
fist on fist on chin bit with the knee up.
Yeah, that's Dante thinking about hell, basically.
Thinking about how he's going to write in everybody that wronged him into hell.
Dante-san, what are you thinking about? I don't know. Hell.
Baku-san.
So the Thinker is really Dante. And of course there's
Greek gods in hell.
There's world-renowned author Dan Brown in his novel Inferno, which had nothing to do with any of Dante's works and was just a real mess of a story. I had to throw that in because my grandma gave me the book, so I had to read it, and I was really mad about it. I did not like it. Now here, to me, is the best part of Dante's story. Dante merely dying doesn't mean shit for the end. Over the course of Dante's exile, politics didn't die down in Florence, and he's still, while it did die down in Florence, he still refused to come back because they wanted him to admit he was in the wrong, which he wouldn't do. But after Dante's death, Florence realized they just lost their greatest writer in history. Now here's the thing.
And they disowned him straight up, so they couldn't even oh, did they try to take ownership of him later on?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, that's where we're getting at?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
fucked
up.
Here's the thing, though. But here's the thing. Italy, as a fully connected, unified country, they just celebrated their 75th year of unification. There are people out there that remember it not being unified. And I am willing to bet that a lot of them have passed down their resentment of people in other provinces, because I will tell you, the gang warfare is straight up real in Italy. It really is a thing. When I was in Italy, I had to tell Nicole's mom, like, hey, listen to me. We're about to go into another city here, and I don't want you to talk shit about, like, say, let's say that we're going to Venice or something. I don't want you to be like, man, Florence was so much better. Because guess what? You're going to make us a target. Like, I want you to only say how Venice was better.
And who's going to be the target? It's going to be the one guy in this group. And they're going to rock my shit.
They're going to look at the one white kid and be like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. No more.
You hear what that motherfucker said in his Asian mom accent?
Like, you hear what his mother-in-law said? Yeah.
Get him.
By connection? Yes.
So
pasted bitch.
So Florence, look at that sunburned bitch. So Florence asked for Dante's body back. Pretty much right after his death is when this started. The people of Ravenna said, get fucked. 200 years later, in 1519, Pope Leo X said, just fucking take it. But when the people arrived to open the sarcophagus that had been sealed for hundreds of years, Dante's body was fucking gone. The Franciscan monks learned about the plot to take his body and opened up a hole in the back of the tomb and fucking swiped the bones in the middle of the night.
What the fuck?
While it was being guarded. Yeah,
what?
Dude.
Why?
Because they're petty. They don't
What the fuck?
They don't want him going back to Florence.
Okay.
Yeah.
God damn.
There were constant attempts.
Can you imagine being paid to do something like that?
I know, but they're monks. They're all part of this monastery. That's where his bones are, under fucking heavy lock and key and a ton of cement. But
and a bunch of cement, which is not holy, but don't talk about it.
Yeah. So I mean, while they're not getting paid, God, that's a cool fucking job.
Grave robber, holy grave robber.
Holy grave robber! No. So there were constant attempts to recover Dante's bones over the course of the next couple hundred years. And so they were constantly being shuffled around. Because of this, there was a 55-year period of time between 1810 and 1865 where the bones were just fucking lost. But here's the thing. It's been tradition for Florence to request Dante's bones every few years and for Ravenna to tell the Florentines to fuck themselves. So during one of these times, Ravenna actually didn't know where the bones were. Florence was like, oh yeah, sure, we got it. Real funny, guys. And they just built their own Dante mausoleum anyway. So
this shit's so funny. It's like, dude, whoever made the plans to steal the fucking bones and make them go away, you realize it makes the guy way more legit and legend worthy if his bones have been stolen. You haven't thought this through. You just made the man myth.
Well, so basically what Florence did though was they created a whole mausoleum, and they just built this big empty tomb in the Santa Croce, probably Basilica.
Try again.
No.
Let's do this.
Santa Croce, maybe? Basilica.
Santa Croce.
The crotch.
Santa Croce.
Saint of Crotch.
So they're in the Santa Croce.
So they built this big, beautiful tomb for him when they, quote unquote, eventually get Dante. And it would have him surrounded by Dante's admirers like Galileo and Michelangelo. So they could say, you see, if Dante were alive, he would want to be buried here. You know what I mean? It's surrounded by people that he was influenced by as well as influenced by Dante. He would be it was oh, dude, yeah, man, if I got my place to pick, it's either next to this dirty little monastery or it's going to be in this fucking rad ass tomb, dude.
I mean, it would probably be better if they just gave the descendants some money.
Yeah. I mean,
instead of doing a ceremonial thing. I don't know.
On March 17th, 1861, Italy was founded as a nation. Not the one that we know now, but a different one. The government chose the Florentine dialect as the basis for a modern Central Italian language. There were basically different dialects throughout all of Italy, but they chose Florence. Why? Because it was easiest.
We chose Florence, and we're going to enforce it.
It's because more people knew at least a bit of
and that won't be a problem with that mentality later on.
Oh. Most people knew at least a bit of the Florentine language, more than any other kind of Italian, because of how many people have read the Divine Comedy. So it was just easiest to go off of that.
Oh.
But eventually...
Well, holy shit, so he influenced like an entire...
The language that people speak now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? And all for just being pissed off, you know?
This is pretty fucking impressive, dude.
Yeah.
Like...
But eventually, on May 27th, 1865, a guy working on restoration to the Franciscan Abbey in Ravenna named Anastasio.
No. Collect yourself.
Matteucci Anastasio found the bones in a box hidden under a doorway with the words Dante's bones written on it. The monks were so excited, they put the bones
Oh my god, it has it written on it!
Yeah, Who is this? Chuck? I don't know, fuck it, throw it away. Like, the monks were so excited, they put the bones in a glass coffin for a few months for public display before burying them again. In World War II, the bones were moved yet again to a mound of dirt in case the place was ever bombed or raided, which luckily didn't happen. Since then, his bones have not been moved from his eternal resting place. At the front of the sarcophagus hangs an 18th century lamp with oil donated every year from Florence. But on his grave itself, basically as like a, I'm sorry, you know? But on its grave itself is forever memorialized the words, Parvi Florentia Mater Amoris, Florence, mother of little love. In 2008, Florence officially apologized for Dante's exile, exonerating him 700 years after his death.
Oh.
They're asking for him again.
Okay, so we're good.
They're asking for him again this year. And here's the thing, though. Every mayor wants to be the guy that brings back Dante's bones, and it's never going to happen. Like, no Ravenna mayor wants to be the guy that got rid of Dante's bones. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't think it's going to happen. My sources today: The Inferno by Dante Alighieri, Henry Longfellow translation, Barnes & Noble Classics, 2003. The Purgatorio by Dante Alighieri, Henry Longfellow translation, Barnes & Noble Classics, 2005. The Paradiso by Dante Alighieri, Henry Longfellow translation, Barnes & Noble Classics, 2005, and Wikipedia. Do you think that they ought to give Dante back?
What?
Do you think that Ravenna ought to give back the bones?
I don't know, man. Did they even have the bones? It sounds like they're just kind of like flexing.
That's actually a really good point.
Like,
yeah, I would love if like 100 years from now, finally the mayor of Ravenna is just like, all right, I had an under the table deal and we're giving the bones back. They break open the sarcophagus. They've been gone for decades.
Yeah, like... dude, they're probably just like in the fucking woods somewhere. Like, that's
actually
like,
a fantastic point. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like...
I turned it into spaghetti. Yeah, I mean, no fucking way.
We're going to start a new gang war over, al dente or not.
I got a better one. Eating your mashed potatoes with a spoon or a fork. Oddly, a point of contention.
Well, that would depend on the consistency of the potato. That's not.
Why would the consistency ever need a spoon? Then it's a potato soup.
Well, that's a
It's mush.
Thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, actually.
I mean, you
no, it should have some chunk to it.
Yeah,
like,
you have it with a fork. It's got a little aeration at the bottom. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I
Look, I've seen people really fight about this at work.
Really?
Yeah, it was because it was when
I
we were
believe
changing
that.
oil.
I've literally seen a fist fight over Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars.
No,
a literal fist
granted,
fight.
we were actually like, it was when we were changing oil. I went out to KFC. I'm eating in there. And this guy walks back in after getting his meal, and he's just like, "Hey, you guys got any spoons?" And the guy's like, "No, sorry, sir, we've just got forks." And he's like, "Oh, no, it's fine. I don't know how I'm supposed to eat my mashed potatoes." And then leaves.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna be like a bitch.
Yeah, he was very hurt. Like, just
let me guess, was he close to middle aged and of a more pasty complexion?
Yeah, he was an old white man.
Yeah,
so I went to work and I brought it up, and of course, fucking Tim brings it up, just like, no, I eat
Okay,
I eat mine with a fork.
No. All right, this better tie in. I swear to God, I am fucking.
It's not tying in any way.
Well, if it's not tying in any way, then we're gonna end it.
I want to make it longer.
No, you cannot. All right. Well, in relation, closing thoughts.
Go tell your breakups to listen to Caleb Can't Read.
All right, fuck it. Yeah, no, we're out.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.